He's going to start the recording, so I just wanted you to be aware of that.
Sure.
Okay. Good evening. It is 6:30, and I'm going to call this meeting to order for the zoning board for June the 16th. And we will have a roll call, please.
Yes, in attendance tonight, we have Councilor Eric Hoffman, Mr. Richard Bodie, Ms. Jane LaRoche, Marcia Hayward will be acting as chair, Tyler Carmichael, assistant planner, and myself, Scott Pelchat, I'll be acting as the minute writer.
First thing, we have to appoint as voting members tonight Mr. Hoffman and Mr. Bodie as voting members of tonight's panel. And for those of you that are presenting or coming for an application tonight, we have what is called a short board. We do not have 5 members tonight. So you have the option to postpone your hearing before us until next month if you so choose. You would need 3 votes in order to get your application approved. So you can decide if you want to come back next month or if you want to go forward. So is there anyone that thinks they want to come back? Okay. Well, when you're called, if you have changed your mind, feel free to know that you can come back next month. So the first applicant is 238 White Oaks Road.
Previous.
Last meeting.
Oh, the minutes of last meeting. I know. Thank you for reminding me of that. I do want to say that whoever makes the motion tonight, there needs to be an amendment made that on the description of Morris Avenue, there was a condition set forth for the variance approval that both properties would be combined. That information was not in the minutes, so if you make a motion to accept the minutes, please make it with that amendment. Do I hear a motion?
Can you repeat that?
How about Eric, you go
Oh, you
for
got it. Good.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with the amendment that 15 Morris Avenue, we include the condition mentioned in the last meeting about 15 Morris Avenue that the properties be combined.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor? Now the minutes have been taken care of. We can go on to 238 White Oaks Road. Do we have 238 White Oaks Road here?
Did she withdraw?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you Mr. Cronin?
I am.
Hi, Mr. Cronin.
Madam Chair, how are you this evening?
I'm fine. I want you to know that there is a letter from one of the abutters whose lawyer, she hired Mr. Philpott.
Yes, I'd like to address that. I think
Okay.
I'm aware of the letter. When
Okay.
we were here the last time, I believe, we certainly had ample opportunity to present our case, and I thank you for that, and I think Attorney Philpott did as well. My understanding of that was that pretty much submitted the case, the record was closed, and we asked for permission to continue it so that we could make an attempt to meet with Mr. Philpott and his clients and see if there was any common ground where we could get their support or at least address their concerns. We had a meeting scheduled, so we had cooperative conversation following that hearing. I was saddened to learn, as Bill Philpott's been a longtime colleague and friend of mine, that he took ill, required some hospitalization. Initially, my thought was because there wasn't much lawyering to do tonight, it would just be a decision that we would press forward. But in respect to him and to give him a fair opportunity, and to his clients, who we continued to have a professional chat outside, productive, I think it's probably best that we push it off for another month, as difficult as that is for the applicant at this time of the year, where the fall is going to be here and gone soon. And if we do get approved, we'd have to go through planning. But I think in fairness to Attorney Philpott and his team, I wouldn't want his folks to feel they weren't properly represented. We'll push it off. Okay?
Okay, so can we have a motion to table and push off this application until
Tyler,
next month?
just help us through this.
Sure. So you're good to continue it to the July meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were going to tell me there's no July meeting. It's like there is a July meeting, right?
No, yes, there is a July meeting.
It's the 20th.
I believe it's the 21st. Let me just confirm that. I don't think we've we have moved that at all, but I will double check. Zoning board. And it is the July 21st meeting, so if you're good with July 21st?
Yeah, that would be fine. And the only other administrative point, my recollection, which is, it's not as good as it used to be, was that this was pretty much submitted in case I have a conflict. I could send someone from my office to cover it and not delay it. If the record is still open, I would probably have to make amends to try and get here in case any questions came up. Do you know is it your understanding that the record was closed from the last hearing or not?
I do believe. Let me just double
Tyler,
check
while
here.
while he's looking at, do we
Yes.
need to make a motion?
So, yes, the motion you're gonna make is just to continue this application to the July 21st meeting.
I make a
then they'll
motion
come
to continue this application to the July 21st meeting.
I will second Skyview Acres being continued.
Okay,
That's- I mean,
all in
that's what we
favor?
have when we have his, so.
Yeah, since it's your same law firm, as long as it's somebody from your law firm that's gonna represent the
Yep.
client, that's fine.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you.
No problem.
Yes, sir.
thank you, Mr. Cronin.
Thank you. Stay cool, everybody.
Yes.
We'll be waiting for this for a while, but maybe not this much.
And for those of you that came for this, please be aware there is not another notice sent out. Okay, just so you know that we won't be notifying people. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That was unanimous vote, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay, I
a
just wanna make sure I
unanimous-
didn't see.
I was on the fence, so
There's no take backsies.
And I would ask the name of
The
it.
next application is for 18 Andrews Avenue.
Yes.
Please state your name and
John Parent.
John Parent.
hang tight,
Hello,
hang tight.
Mr. Parent.
How are we doing this evening?
Hang tight. We're fast forwarding a lot of pages, hang on.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mr. Parent is here seeking a variance on setbacks because he wants to have a shed,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay. So why don't you, because I was looking at your diagram and I had a couple of questions. So do you want to kind of walk me through what you want to do here?
Do you want to come forward or? what-
Can if you want- if
It's,
you want.
I heard you saying measurements earlier, and I believe it was 15 feet and 10 feet from the abutting behind her residence. What she's looking for is to move that 10 feet to 5 feet.
Well, I saw on the application that you were looking for side and rear setbacks, you know, to not meet the rear and side setbacks. But I was looking at the diagram and I was looking at the 10-foot mark that was here in the front, and you have to have a 15-foot in the front. And I just need you to tell me, what are the actual dimensions you're gonna have from the front? Where are you putting the shed? How big is the shed? And
It's a 20 by 10, and without having the picture in front of me, I kind of.
do you wanna look at this?
Yeah, if I could, I don't have
Sure,
my glasses with me.
Come on up
I'm
here.
sorry.
Come help me out here. So, how far back does she wanna go from the front? It's gonna be 15 feet.
This, she doesn't have, this right here, she doesn't have the problem from this side.
It's this side, this site's,
This abutting property right here, because
Okay.
there's a garage that belongs to this property right here, which is fine, it's not in anybody's way.
So, yeah.
She just wanted to cut this.
Yep.
To 5 feet instead of the 10.
okay, so it's really the side setback if,
Yes.
so what he's saying here, for those of you that on this side setback right here, rather than having a 10-foot, which is required, she wants to make it to 5. That's what she's asking for. Do you have questions of Mr. Parent?
What is the building? Is this a shed or?
It's just a shed, yeah. Just a shed.
Mr. Parent, I'm gonna have you have a seat for just a second in case there's somebody who wants to speak for or against this application.
No problem.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Is there anyone in the audience who wants to speak for or against this application? Mr. Parent, you can come back up. board, do you have any more questions for Mr. Parent before I close it for deliberations?
It's clear.
It's clear? No more questions for Mr. Parent?
Nope.
Okay, then I am going to close the public portion of your application at 6:40. And we will now break for deliberations amongst the board. Comments?
So the entire community is pre-existing non-conforming, and every neighbor that he has a shed of various sizes. So, and there's one person that's kind of directly to the southwest of him, that if they didn't have an issue with that, then I think that I'm good to go. I think it's reasonable what he's asking for.
I agree.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion then?
I can make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Jane.
I can make a motion that we approve ZB 2025-062, variance requested in Article 6, Section 235-358, as an encroachment into the side setback up to 5 feet, as noted on the application by the person submitting it.
So, the findings of facts are the conditions specified in the application will be the findings of fact.
Correct.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Happy having a shed, Mr. Parent?
Thank you very much. Do I need to stay, I need to stay to the end?
No, you do
Nope.
not.
Nope.
You're all set.
All
Want to
set.
do that unless,
You really don't
So,
want to do
I'm
that.
gonna sit
Either
underneath
that
your
or
fan there for a little
Either
bit.
that or a root canal, your
Well, get
choice.
some
Thank you very
ice
much.
cream.
Yeah.
Have a great evening.
Yep.
I forgot the name of it.
the next application is 141 Harglen Lane. Please state your name.
Good evening, Madam Chair. My name is Christopher Berry. I'm with Berry Surveying and Engineering, and I'm here with my project manager, Joseph Berry, representing the applicant here tonight. I don't believe I've ever presented in this room before, so what's the procedure for setting up of the easel and things of that nature?
So if you could kind of put it to the right of the podium here,
Yeah,
Back
maybe
this
a
way
little
just
bit
little
closer.
more.
Yeah,
Sorry
right there,
about
and then we'll
that.
get it with the camera.
okay.
Yeah, it should be
I think that'll be good.
just a little bit closer and we're gonna be fine.
Tyler, do we have
Nice.
authorization for them to present on behalf of the,
I believe we do.
I just want to verify that, please.
It's the first page of the application.
Yes, we do.
Yep, we're good to go.
Okay,
So, good evening again. My name is, again, Christopher Berry. I'm with Berry Surveying and Engineering. We're here for three separate variances, but it's all sort of one project in one case. And so, the applicants own an existing home that's situated about midway on the lot from the street. There's a paved driveway that comes into the front of the site, front steps that come into the existing home. There's a paved access that's likely used for boat launch, pretty much all the way down to the water's edge. There's a rear sort of screened in, covered and enclosed deck space here at the back of the site, and then there's other, existing features, typical waterside features along the site. The site's small in nature. It's existing, non-conforming. It's approximately 87 feet wide, and we're in a zone that requires 25-foot setbacks. So if you can consider having an 87-foot wide lot and having 50 feet removed for the requirement of setbacks, it sort of pinches that building envelope down. And in fact, we have a non-conformance to the west, and we're actually already non-conforming to the east also. So what the applicants are proposing is to keep the existing home intact. And essentially, as you can see from the photographs that we provided you, the home is kind of cut up. There's different roof lines, there's different facades. And so essentially they're looking to square the home off to make it more usable on the inside. So the first variance request is 25-foot setback relief so that they could essentially enclose the front porch area that would be used as a breezeway or an entranceway into the home. And so there's that amount of square footage that's within the side setback that is expanding. So we are requesting a variance there. In the existing condition, it's approximately 15 feet and it remains the same. So really, we're not getting any closer to the boundary line, but it's the squaring off that causes the nonconformance. The second is similar. There's a sort of an odd addition on the side here that we're proposing to take off and then square off that side of the home also. And based on how the home was built with essentially the gable end of the street, we're requesting a variance to allow for this existing exterior wall to essentially remain, because in this type of structure, in a balloon load, that's where the loading of the home is. So it's not like we can remove that wall and then add our addition to become conforming or to build a conforming structure. That space is really needed because essentially we're going to have two walls that face each other on the inside of the home. And so that square footage is within the sideline setback. Our existing nonconformance, we're approximately 24 feet from the boundary line, and we're proposing that it be 22 feet. Rough numbers, the plan demonstrates precisely. So we're becoming more non-conforming by only 2 feet in that particular area, and I think, as you can see, creates a much more usable space for that home. The rear portion of this is the last variance that we're requesting, and again, it's only to the sideline setback. We're actually reducing the amount of deck space and enclosed space at the back, but we're sliding it in the easterly direction so that we can add a secondary means of egress from that top deck. So the top deck is accessed by the living space in the home. It's not, a deck on posts, it's a covered deck. And so that there's second means of egress from the deck, but also from the home. Those stairs are within the sideline setback. Part of our presentation and a major benefit to this project is I think we can all recognize that the site slopes from the road all the way down to the water, and that in the existing condition this entire area is paved. So you can imagine that we have water that's channelized and essentially is directed or shoots right to the lake. And so what we're doing to become more conforming with the shoreline protection and your local stormwater ordinance is the applicant is willing to go with a porous product here on the western side of the home. What that allows us to do is all of the stormwater from the paved surface, and as you can see there's a valley that's in the existing roof, will hit that porous product first and be infiltrated into the ground, reduce the rate of flow and then the nutrient load. And then this section in here would become a grass pave. Again, it's a porous product. They can still load boats down to the water's edge like they do now, but it's a much better product and again allows for additional reinfiltration of stormwater. To offset the additional building space, what we're proposing to do is grab the additional areas, gutter them, and send them to just 2 basic dry wells on site. And so as we point out in our application, we're functionally reducing with these 2 measures the impervious footprint of the site by 4%, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a pretty good square footage. But we're reducing the effective impervious area almost down to 0, because by the time stormwater actually leaves the developed site, it's hitting another porous surface that we've interjected. And so we're disconnecting that flow. We're allowing it to infiltrate at the small storm events prior to coming into the water body. Madam Chair, is it customary that every applicant run through the 5 criteria, or does the board make that findings themselves?
Not necessarily, if you feel the obligation to. I'm sure we've all read it, but if they might have some questions of you that might pertain to one of those
Okay.
criteria.
All right. So our argument for all three of these, they're all the same variance, is pretty much identical. I think what I'd like to do is just touch the highlights of each one of the, I won't read this word for word, assuming that
that's
you've read it. So, granting the variance would not be contrary to public interest. Here, on non-conforming lots and subdivisions like this, the public interest is really lot and block conformity. And I don't know that what we're proposing here is really contrary to any public interest. And in fact, I think you would see similar construction styles up and down the street. Most notably, that this request doesn't harm anybody's wealth or well-being as part of this project. Granting the variance would be consistent with the spirit of the ordinance. And here, the spirit of the ordinance is much the same, but also in redevelopment of sites, ensuring that redevelopment is done responsibly for everybody's benefit and not just the applicants. Granting of the variance would do substantial justice here. The litmus test is the benefit to the applicant outweighs any detriment to the ordinance itself or the general public. I don't believe in this case that it does, and in fact, we have developed sites to both east and west. We're not going up in height, and we're increasing our duty to the lake. Granting the variance would not result in a diminution of property values. This is a residential lot. This is a proposed residential use. We're not proposing any obnoxious behaviors. And so I don't believe that there's any diminution, and we're intentionally not overcrowding our neighbors. The special conditions of the lot, I think here are clear. We have an existing non-conforming parcel, which isn't special to the neighborhood or even special to Laconia. But when you look at redevelopment of all sites, the speciality of the fact that it is non-conforming and that any redevelopment of this site would likely require a variance seems to fit the tests, in my opinion.
All right, I'm going to ask you, Christopher.
Good, either way.
To have a seat in case somebody wants to make a comment, pro or con. Thank you. So if there's anyone in the audience that would care to make a comment, either in favor or not in favor of this application, would you please come forward? Seeing none. Does the board have questions of Christopher?
I do not.
Rob? Do you have any questions? He's deep in thought.
You mean Richard?
I'm sorry, Richard. I said Rob. Why did I say that? No wonder you didn't answer me. Rob is usually on this side. Richard is on that side. I apologize, Richard. You can call me Marcia anytime you want. None? Okay, if there are no questions for Christopher, we will close the public portion at 6:50, and we will now open it for board discussion.
So same thing, neighborhood, the entire area is pre-existing non-conforming, and everything's reasonable, in my opinion. And I especially like the stormwater mitigation plan. It's actually brilliant to be able to take care of it all, so I'm in favor.
I think the requests are really minor in terms of.
It's squaring off the building,
Yeah,
that's all that they're doing.
Very
That's right.
minor changes
That's
to.
all. Now,
the,
question, if we were to make a motion on this, is it just one? Because at least, it's three different, but it's under one application?
It's one application, so you're just gonna approve, if
Okay.
you're good with everything, approve the whole application as is?
I'm in favor. Yep,
I have no problems either, so if somebody wants to entertain a motion.
I'll do that. Make a motion that we approve the variance for 2025-063 for 141 Harglin. Love that name. Seeking dimensional, that's what I'm looking for. Dimensional,
Variance.
Variance from
Variance.
dimensional
not
standards.
satisfaction, that was a particular word I was looking for. Relief, that's the word I was looking for.
Okay,
Granting the variance is not contrary to the public interest because of as in the specifications given. Granting of the variance is certainly consistent within the spirit of the ordinance. And granting of the variance would do substantial justice as it is making good use of the property and taking care of stormwater. Granting of the variance will not result in There is no evidence given whether this change will either increase or decrease surrounding property values. And relative to hardship, it is making good use of the pre-existing non-conforming building in a better way. I'm complete.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Eric. Any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you. Enjoy the rest
Good
of
luck.
your evening.
Thank you.
Very well presented.
Jane, can I look at your agenda?
777 Union Avenue, please.
What's your name?
Do we have anybody presenting
The
for
agenda.
777 Union Avenue?
This one?
No?
You mailed them yesterday, so.
I know.
That's the cigar shop.
That's the cigar shop signs. Nobody.
I'm surprised.
Sir Winston's Cigars. Then how about 2348?
If we could.
What? What do you want to do?
So 477 Union Ave, the board still has an application that's before them. You either have to continue it or take action on it. So it's up to you guys.
You haven't heard anything from them, have you?
I was under the assumption they were gonna be here. I emailed them, actually it was last Thursday, I was talking to him. He asked me a couple of questions about this meeting, so I would assume he was gonna be here, but it's 2 extra signs, so.
So it's up to the board on whether or
What
not.
do you
I-
want to do? You want to continue or?
Well, I like people being here, but
I
this is
know.
a really simple one, in my opinion.
I wouldn't, I'm not going to make a decision. I have some questions.
Okay, fair enough then. So
So
let's
I'm-
just continue with that.
You want to, somebody make a motion then to continue it to next
So
month?
I make a motion that we continue 2025-064 for 777 Union Ave until the July
21st.
21st meeting.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? We'll continue till July.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler, for pointing that out. So now it's 2348 Parade Road. Do you have anyone presenting for Parade Road?
What was the address?
2348?
2348 Parade Road?
2238.
Oh, it's
2238. Yep.
2238?
Yep.
Okay,
This is for the
sorry.
Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, right?
That's right.
2238, sorry.
That's all right.
Hi.
That's my clerical error there.
That's all right. I'm Bruce Wilhelm. I'm the Property Committee Chair and Financial Secretary at Good Shepherd. And we want to install a small columbarium within the confines of the existing landscaping of the building. It's above ground, all built of granite and keeping within the character of a church. Each the unit contains 25 niches. Each can hold an urn for ashes for 2 people, and that's what we're proposing.
Can you give me the dimensions of this building again you're doing?
It's not a building. It's
Not a
a
building.
it's a unit that is
It's a unit.
it's about 7 feet tall, 6 feet long, and 20 inches deep.
Could you give me those dimensions again? 7 feet tall?
In fact, let me get you
And then
77 inches tall,
Okay,
77 inches
tall.
long,
77 inches long, yeah,
and 19 inches deep.
19 inches deep.
Marcia, it's kind of like with respect, it's like a mailbox, like for an apartment building.
It's like at the Veterans Cemetery, probably.
Yes, exactly,
Yes.
yes,
Just like-
exactly,
just
yes,
like 'cause they
exactly,
have at the Veterans
exactly like
Cemetery.
that.
Okay,
Yes,
now I
yes,
have an
yes,
image
yes.
of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I only have 4 of these, but.
No, that's all right.
That's all right. I can,
Yes,
I can look
thank
at
you.
hers and
Thank you, you don't need
they
to.
can share.
Yeah. Okay, yes, yeah, okay.
Exactly
Thank you.
what I thought. That's
Yeah.
nice.
That's very nice looking.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is a special exception, and the conditions are on page 134B, if you want to take a look at that.
Slide that
This-
to Marcia. That's a special exception. I got it right here, Marcia.
Yeah, it's section, yeah, well, I have it in my book.
You need the special exception information?
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you go.
But it's B. Yeah. So, just so you know that when you're, do we have questions for Mr. Williams? I'm gonna ask you to have a seat for just a second, and then I'll see if there are anyone that would like to speak in favor or against this application. So do we have anyone in the audience that wants to speak in favor of or in opposition to the application requesting a columbarium at the Lutheran Church? No one? Okay. We will close that public portion at 7 o'clock. Deliberations from the board.
Tyler or Scott, question, why is this before us? This seems to be kind of silly.
So cemeteries are permitted by special exception in the RR1. And technically under state law, a columbarium is lumped in together as a cemetery. And so the zoning board has to take action on this as a special exception. I had the same question, so I specifically went and looked up to make sure that columbarium fell under the
Yeah.
use definition.
Okay. Any thoughts here?
Yes.
Make it go,
Oh,
huh?
goodness gracious.
I know it's,
Yeah,
So, to me, this is.
it's a routine.
yeah.
Yep.
I'll be glad to read through the criteria with the
Please.
motion.
Go ahead.
Since I have it in front of me.
Please do that. You did some research on this today as well.
Oh,
That's
no, I
right.
didn't. I just put the conditions in front of
Oh,
me, that's
just,
all.
how many,
But wait till you hear the conditions, this is so
how
silly.
many of them do they want to put on?
What?
Mm,
No, this is what it looks like,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
here.
no, you're wanting to know how many spots?
No, is it just one?
It says one or more in the
One or
application.
more.
One or more. So so they're going to do this, and then would this give them permission in perpetuity to add?
Yes. So this is just for the use.
Okay.
For the use, yeah.
Okay, all right. How many could they do? As many as they want?
As many as state law would permit, and I don't have that information off the top of my head.
Would they have to come, for them to have, so this is the intent of my question, for them so they're doing one right now. If
Yep.
it's successful, they like the look and it accomplishes their goals, then they want to add a second one. Will they have to come before the board?
No.
So what if they want to have a community of 150 of them?
Well, they'd have to have the land.
As
cleared.
far as the city is concerned, the use has been approved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any regulations, for fire or life safety code will be governed by the fire department at that point in time when they go to
Right.
construct it. Same thing with if there's any restrictions that the state would place upon it, but from
Fair point.
our use and zoning
Okay, good.
standpoint,
I mean, I'm not opposed to 150 of them. I'm just asking
Yeah.
what would be.
Right.
yeah, they wouldn't have to come back for
For all my
that.
years doing this, it's like,
Yeah.
I learned something new tonight.
Right.
I think it's lovely.
Well, I will make a motion, but as I was reading the conditions of the specialist exception that they have to meet, I was actually chuckling, because it's like, you gotta be
Do they have to be
kidding me.
alive?
Yeah, I know, it's like,
Shame on you.
Dark humor, sorry.
so I'm going to make a motion to grant a special exception to 2238 Parade Road, which is, application ZB 2025-065. They have will be getting a special exception from Article 5, Section 235-26. They have to meet all of the criteria, which I will list. Number one, that this request is specified or authorized in our ordinances, and yes, it is authorized, so therefore it meets A. The request will not create undue traffic congestion or impair pedestrian safety. No, it will not have any, we won't have any traffic problems here.
And if there are, we're in big trouble.
C, the request will not overload public water, drainage, sewer systems, or municipal systems. No, there will be any increase in municipal systems with a columbarium. D, the request will not create excessive demand on police, fire protection, schools, or solid waste. Columbarium does not meet that condition. I mean, it will not impact that condition. There are no special provisions that we need to put forth for this. F, the condition is the request will not create hazards to health, safety, or the general welfare of the public, and, or to the adjacent character of the neighborhood. No one has come forward to oppose this request, so I don't think the neighbors are concerned that this is going up. G, the location is appropriate for the requested use. Yes, a columbarium at the Lutheran Church, Lutheran Church is an appropriate request. And the last one, the request use is consistent with the spirit and intent of the master plan. Yes, it meets all of those as far as I'm concerned. I make a motion to grant the special exception.
I can second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you.
Good luck, guys.
And that's it, isn't it? One more?
We do have something on the other business, but I'll express that after you.
Are you here for
Also-
51 Morris Avenue? 15 Morris Avenue? That was
Continued.
continued.
To next
I know it was continued to tonight, but then they put in a request to continue it to next.
That was me, yeah.
You.
Right.
You
I
put
didn't
in
know
the
that it was
request
granted.
for next month.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
That was already approved, or do I have to do that officially?
I believe that you guys have already voted on that, right?
Yeah, right in the beginning.
Yes. Yes, because we had a discussion about the
Yep.
21st of
Yep.
July, so.
Okay, you're all set for next month. I'm sorry that wasn't clear.
I emailed
no,
their,
no, thank you.
well, I emailed their team.
Is
when
there
I got
anyone
the
here
emails.
for something else? No?
21st of July, correct.
21st of July, yeah.
We didn't vote to continue that. We voted to continue White Oaks
The other one?
Road, right?
Then you want to vote to continue that one?
I want to vote to, I need a motion to continue, what's,
That's right, it was White Oaks Road.
15 Morris Avenue.
I move to continue 15 Morris Avenue to next month.
And just for clarification, that's ZB 2025-057.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Second,
I will second.
all in favor? There you go.
There you go, it's continued.
Okay.
Sorry about
And
that.
again, there will not be any public notice to abutters. We don't send out a second notice. So you just know you have to be here.
Perfect. That's right, I forgot it was White Oaks. We continued.
Okay.
I don't know why we were skipping around on the agenda.
I do have a question, for ZB 2025-061, that's 609 Main Street, and I do not see anybody here for that.
No.
So we will also need to either take action tonight or vote to continue.
Is there more signs or?
Yep.
That was the
Right here
sign,
downtown.
that's Candy, you know, next to Defiant. She, bought candy and she wanted to do the same thing in the windows. And I happened to be in there and asked her if she was going to come, and she said, you know, it's not that important to me anymore. I found out how much it was gonna cost me to put up the vinyl sign, so I don't think I'm gonna do it.
So we can reach out to her and see if she wants to withdraw at some point, but if you guys want to vote to continue, so at least we can deal with the application, then we'll speak to her and see if she wants to officially withdraw. If she does, we will send out an email.
I have a question on that. What do we have to do to amend our ordinances so that people don't need to come before us for, I mean,
Yep.
I think specifically on Main Street, Court Street, like, I think we could probably identify some sections of the city where we can
100%.
maybe loosen up the sign regulations. Just-
Yes, I am with you on that. It is on our priority list.
Do I have to talk to my city councilor about that?
I would talk to your city councilor or the city manager about that. That's
Okay.
what I would do.
All right.
Or the planning director.
I'll be reaching out to you tonight, Counselor.
Yes,
Funny.
yes.
Yeah, so somebody wanna make a motion
Oh.
to continue? Oh,
Whoops.
Oh, that one, yep.
Let-
And then there's one
let's
other thing
continue
after.
the one on, it's 609 Main Street, right?
Correct, yep.
609 Main Street, make a motion to continue that
I'll move
application
to-
till
yeah.
next month.
I'll move to continue
Thank
609
you.
Main Street.
Second.
ZB 2025-061.
Thank you.
Perfect.
All in favor of continuing?
Beautiful.
Here we
will
go.
follow up on that and see if
Okay.
she wants to withdraw.
Yeah.
Okay, and so for the last thing is other business. I believe that was about member attendance. And
So we wanted to start the discussion of what that's gonna look like as we go forward, because we do have a member that has missed, I believe, 12.
It's in the rules. It's one of the things I highlighted.
I know, and that's, I feel horrible bringing it up, and bringing it to light, but, you know, as this board goes forward, how long can you guys sustain
You're
not
not
having the
supposed,
number?
we shouldn't have gone on this long, because according to the rules, it should have been dealt with long ago. And it should have, I highlighted that when I edited.
How many people
I-
are supposed to be on this board?
5.
5.
Okay.
5 full members, and then you can have 5 alternate members.
Where is it in here? I
How many
highlighted.
alternates do we currently have?
You two, and then, well,
That's it, we have 4.
yes.
And then 2
Yep.
alternates.
Oh, I wish I had my color copy with me.
So, I mean,
would
with,
have done that.
so with Roland,
Ah.
the special.
It's the gentleman from Sir Winston's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
it's a good thing I haven't closed the meeting.
Oh,
How about that?
was in traffic.
Oh.
Okay.
On his motorcycle on Weir's Boulevard.
No,
We will,
Well, my-
continue.
the sign guy was supposed to be representing, but he couldn't make it, so.
But just
Oh,
hang,
right.
hang tight,
Josh.
just, you can stay right there.
Oh, sure.
Let's
Finish this here and then we'll
finish
come
this.
back.
So, in my, you know, Roland has served the city for longer than anybody here has been alive. And so I'm in agreement. I think that he's ready to be done. His physical problems and even some of his, he is aware of both cognitive issues and physical, he's so aware of that. And so that's fine. I don't think that he'll have a problem with that. I would like to just put it forward at this point, if we are going to vote to remove him from the board, which is, I agree with Marcia, you guys should have done, again, sorry to be an idiot.
Sure.
You know,
Unfortunately, I don't believe it's this board that votes. I believe it may be city council.
No,
That's what
no.
I'm looking at the rule, and I don't think it was us that was supposed to do it.
well,
but
either way,
gotta
I
look
just
at-
wanna make
yeah.
sure that we honor him for his
Yes.
service, that's all.
Agreed.
So just however we manage this, just be good to the guy.
Yes.
You know, that's all, just be gentle.
So,
He's a good man, he's a good man.
I tell you what we'll do. What we can do is I'll look it up in the rules and I'll also verify with city council's rules as well on appointments, just to make sure we do this the right way. But I agree with you, you know, we'll do it with dignity and
This
make
is
sure he's.
long overdue.
In some public
Yeah.
forum, and not just here in this board, and let's, you know, here's a guy that's
Yeah,
given his life to
I'm in
serve.
agreement with you, Richard, 100%, because that was the hard part for me. I didn't want anybody to think I was driving this,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm not.
It's a hard thing, no matter, no which way you cut it. It's hard.
It's on page 2, number 6.
Mhm.
Attendance, vacancies, and removals.
Mhm.
All appointments to the board shall serve for the terms appointed and until a successor has been appointed and qualified. Members who fail to attend 4 meetings annually without due cause can be recommended by the board for replacement to the city council. Such failure to attend shall be deemed sufficient cause for the city council to remove the member pursuant to RSA 673:13 appointments to fill the vacancies. So our board has to recommend to the city council that it's removal.
Correct.
So I am going to make a motion that we make a recommendation for removal to the city council of Mr.
Mayhew.
Mayhew. Okay,
A second?
Second.
okay. All right. So,
All in favor?
all in favor? Okay.
Perfect.
So,
Hold it up.
Mr. Sir Winston, which is, I gotta go find your application now.
I had to dig.
We have to uncontinue this with some kind of vote?
No, I didn't
You
adjourn the
know,
meeting yet,
That's
so
an
that's
excellent
good.
question, because I was thinking that.
We did it.
I would just to be safe, I would have a vote to take this off the table and to discuss it tonight,
Discuss what?
this application, because we've already voted to continue it to next month's meeting. I would have another motion
Right.
to open it back up and discuss it tonight.
Okay, I make a motion to open this application for, I'm trying to find the number again.
Right here.
Hang on.
For application ZB 2025-064.
Yep.
And to open it up and discuss it this evening.
Second?
All in favor? Okay, now we're gonna go forward.
Okay. Well, good evening. Sorry
That's
I'm a
okay.
little late on this one, but my name is Mike Locken. I'm with Pogus Properties. And I represent the company that's going to do a cigar lounge called Sir Winston's. It's a private lounge club. And we're going for signage we have, and I don't know if you guys saw any pictures of this, but I'm gonna, I only had 3, but I'm gonna.
Mike, we have these.
We do, we have them.
Mike.
Did we have this at all?
Mike?
I believe we did.
Yeah, Mike, we could.
Yes, we do.
We
I'll
do.
tell you what, I'll still hold on to this one
We
though.
need a letter appointing him to speak on behalf.
So I guess it was brought to me, at my attention, that we applied for a permit, and then this was an additional type of signage requirement. And so what's happening is, if you've passed by the building, we have 2 windows and we have a door.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is we're taking that center door and we're taking it out and replacing it with a window. And we're gonna move the entrance to the side of the building. So the thought process was kind of be like, kind of like a speakeasy type of thing. You don't really know what's in it. You're not gonna be able to see in, but you wanna have signage to be able to show people what we are and who we are. And so on the side, we're gonna have an awning and we're gonna have, it'll be lit up a little, and that'll be your main entrance in. And so the front will be kind of a tinted window type of effect that you can't see in, but you can see out. You know what I mean? So it'd be kind of private, like, that little smoky type of ambiance, so to speak. And
So,
s-
I had a question because I was looking at your, this is Candy, this is the wrong one. It's the Sir Winston one. That you are looking for, 3 are allowed, you want 5, right?
Yeah, like, I wasn't aware of those were individual.
Right.
To me, that was just one sign, but we had 3 windows that it was going on. And so, yes, to answer your question, if that's the total, yes.
Yeah, so I will say that's just typically how the city has interpreted. If it's 1 on each window, it's an individual sign, but, so what you're seeing on that image there in front of you and on the agenda, those are the maximum number of signs that he's proposing.
Is it typical for graphics on windows to be considered a sign?
So our definition of sign is pretty general, not unlike another New Hampshire municipality that's been featured in the news lately. And so it's very general, and we want to take a look at that and see if we can't tighten it up, because technically anything that's going to convey information is a sign.
Yeah,
All right.
got it, thank
So-
you, finally. So, my question is, knowing that, only 3 are allowed, and you, want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
And 1 on the side.
oh, and 1 on the side, so that makes 6.
Oh.
Okay, I was doing the measurements for the Sir Winstons that are in the windows, and that meets the criteria for, what is it, I had to look it up, it was P9 or something or other that I had to look up on
Yeah, the P5.
the
I think
P5 that I asked you about.
Yeah.
So the window ones actually fit the size regulations, but what I didn't see were the dimensions for this one and this one, to see that
Yeah,
if
those,
they gonna
those
meet.
3 have already been approved.
They've already been approved.
Seeking the lower one.
Just these, okay, so these already meet the requirements.
Correct.
Because they're
Okay.
under the square footage, I believe, which is,
Okay,
for that property, the overall square footage is 216 square feet, measured out over what would be 3 signs. If he gets the variance for the extra 3,
Yep.
then he's off to the races.
okay, yeah. So as long as I know now that I'm looking at only the window signs, and as far as I'm concerned, they meet the specifications that are in the ordinance, I don't have a problem.
As currently written, I see no reason for those window signs to be any different from that measurement that
Yep.
you saw, and then there's another one that says windows can't cover up to 75%.
Right.
Which I don't feel you're gonna do, so.
Correct.
Well, I was looking at the 48 square, maximum of 48 square feet, is what I looked at. But
Yeah.
anyway, the other thing too is I think that what you have is very tasteful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, important. I know that's kind of not a, that's a
Subjective.
qualitative, assessment.
Subjective.
So, but
We spend a lot of time in detail going over that stuff before it even gets to you. This is probably the
yeah.
12th version.
It looks nice. I don't have any more questions, and,
We do need to open this up to a public hearing real quick, though. Let our
oh,
vast
yes.
audience comment.
Would you mind for 1 second if I ask if anybody in the audience would like to speak for or against this?
Sure.
So if there is anybody in the audience that would like to speak for or against, hearing none, we will close this meeting at 7:20, and we will now deliberate amongst the board. So,
It's an easy yes. Our sign zoning so far out of date, it's not even close to current technology.
Yeah.
Who knew that you could get a one sheet, print this all out, and just stick it on your window? Who knew you could do that 25 years ago? And I'm fully in agreement. This is a no-brainer.
Somebody want to make a motion? I think it's a,
I make a motion
Yep.
that we approve, there we go, hang tight. Approve the variance 2025-064. Am I seeing the right one?
Yep.
Okay. Granting the variance is not contrary to the public interests. The granting of the variance certainly is within the spirit of the ordinance. Granting of the variance would do substantial justice, as it is what the owner wants, and it's tasteful. No evidence is given whether property values are increased or decreased, and relative to hardship, I'm gonna say it's the zoning ordinance that is the hardship in this case. I'm complete.
second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Jane. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? There you go.
Perfect.
So
Well,
glad you
thank-
came in tonight.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you were
welcome.
patient enough to take me. It's just not easy out there right now this week.
Lakeport is looking great.
Oh, my God.
Everything that
How
you
can you
guys are
become a
doing in
member? That's what I
Lakeport is
wanna know.
wonderful.
Oh, yeah, give me your name and we're in. Yeah, absolutely.
Am I allowed in the club? No, just kidding.
Sure.
Of course.
It's both
see you
open to men and women.
Yeah?
It's private, but I don't know how that all works in that part of it. I'm on the building end of it, so.
I'm wondering where their parking is going to be, just on the street?
So we're gonna have street, right? And then, you know, we own the Opera House as well.
Oh.
And so the nights that the Opera House aren't, you know, it's not really being used, we can partake in some of that. And we also have my office, which is in Clinton Street, just one block away. And so we got probably 8 spots there if we really. And then really, we have a good relationship with Michelle at O-Peachy's, so.
Yeah.
Are they gonna sell cigars there, or is it BYOC?
No, it's BYOC
Okay,
and it's BYOB.
I see.
Okay, nice.
And you're gonna have, we're gonna have humidor lockers. We're gonna have humidor lockers and alcohol lockers. And so you bring your own alcohol, you can put it in, and the theory behind it was a little bit was, we were talking, and a lot of people at the Opera House, you know, sometimes the men don't really love the shows sometimes, and sometimes they do love them, and they want to go out and maybe smoke a cigar, and
I see.
we're trying to, and then maybe, you know, we just in one of my other projects, we just finished the Junction Restaurant, which is in 51 Elmar Building. And so after you have a nice meal, you could walk over and have a cigar and maybe a scotch or something.
I'd like to hear more about that, but I do need to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
And, no, please feel free to stay, but it's just I don't want all of the discussion on the tape that is being recorded.
Gotcha.
So I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at